An Easter egg is some hidden content in a piece of media that is there to reward the consumers who are willing to put a little bit of work in to find them. When we think of Easter eggs in media, we tend to think of the more visual kinds of media, like television and films, kind of like how Disney tries to hide a Mickey head in a lot of their stuff, called Hidden Mickeys. That is an Easter egg. Now, Easter eggs in music is less common, although it does still happen. Bands can reference other bands, other songs of their own stuff, or they can put Easter eggs within the audio file themselves that can only be found with spectrograph analyzers. For example, in the 2016 Doom game, they put 666s and pentagrams and things like that within the tracks in the game, which is really, really cool. However, what about album covers? They are generally the only visual part of the album that people tend to see, and artists spend hours, days, weeks, or even months working on them, and in that time, sometimes they like to hide a few Easter eggs in as well. Hello, my name is Rob, and in this video we are going to talk about 6 amazing hidden Easter eggs in album covers. Just quickly, if you like this video, could you please click like and subscribe for more content like this? It would be amazing. Anyway, on with the list. Number 6. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Beatles. This album cover is just full of Easter eggs. I mean, look at it. There's so much stuff and things and interesting stuff on it. You could spend hours looking at this album cover and find so many hidden references and Easter eggs and mentions of other bands and songs and historical figures. It's an incredible album cover. The Easter egg we are talking about, however, is both one of the easiest to miss, the simplest to find, and one of the creepiest things on the album. In the bottom right hand corner there is a doll wearing a jumper which says "Welcome Rolling Stones." I think that this was meant as a friendly shout out to the contemporary band The Rolling Stones, although looking at it now it could also be considered a death threat. Number 5. Their Satanic Majesty's Request, The Rolling Stones. This album was released in the same year as Sgt. Pepper and has a reference to the Beatles in it. Now, it's not very easy to see because of the visual style of the album cover. You see, this image is a lenticular image, and it needs to be viewed with a special device to see it clearly. However, if we were to use that device, we can clearly see all 4 members of the Beatles hidden within the album cover. I think this is meant to be a reciprocal shout out to the Beatles after their mention of the Rolling Stones, although this is much more difficult to find. Number 4. Pussycats by Harry Nilsson. This is one of my favourite album cover Easter eggs because 1, it's really cleverly hidden, and number 2, it's incredibly childish. Now, once you get over the really creepy, weird, childish album cover and you start to look at the details of it, a lot of it makes sense. It's a doll's house, so there's a bunch of toys, there's a bunch of references to kids and doll's house playing, things like that. But there is also a very sneaky adult reference hidden within it. If you look just under the table, what can we see? There are some building blocks with some letters and a carpet. Now, the letters on the blocks say D and S, and if instead of a carpet we call that a rug, maybe you can see where I'm going with this. Given the placement of the object, we get D, rug, S. It is literally a drugs reference on the album cover. It's a really clever, silly, funny joke, and it makes me wonder if the entire Doll's House aesthetic was chosen just to make this joke. Number 3. In Through the Outdoor, Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin album covers are rather well known for their outlandish visuals. Hell, their first album cover had the Hindenburg disaster on it. You can't get much more visually impressive than that. Personally, I love the Presence album, I think because it's so strange and not that visually out there, and it makes me feel like part of a Twilight Zone episode. However, the In Through the Outdoor album cover has some relatively dull visuals. It's a sepia tone picture of a man at a bar or a diner with a splash of colour from a paint swipe. Now, that is meant to offer a glimpse into the album, an idea of something new on top of what has already been established, which is a cool idea. The images on the inside cover of the album are just black and white, rather dull close-ups. However, a simple wash with water revealed the Technicolor images underneath, which creates a fantastic, stunning visual style, much more reminiscent of Led Zeppelin's other album covers. What makes this really cool, however, is that there is no reference to this effect anywhere on the album, and people only found out about this by accident. I'm guessing that there is a lot of people out there who own this album who have no idea that this is something you can do. However, anyone who tries this, please do it of your own accord. Don't blame me if you accidentally have a duplicate or a repressing and it doesn't work and it ruins the album. It's not my fault, just warning you now. Number 2, the Sam Spratt album cover for Everybody by Logic. Now, this album cover isn't exactly an Easter egg. The whole point of it is that there is so much detail and interesting things to find in it that they're all meant to be there for you to find. It's not meant to be secret and hidden and you have to work for it. However, I'm putting it in this list because it's a fantastic, stunning artwork that took weeks, if not months, for Sam Spratt to make. There is a link in the description so you can read about it, how he created it, how he designed it, and all the different people and things referenced within it. Please do that, it's really worth your time, it's fantastic. Yeah, that's all. This is a fantastic album cover. Just wanted to mention it. And number one, the absolute best album cover for Easter eggs is Somewhere in Time by Iron Maiden. Now, Iron Maiden like to put secret hidden Easter eggs within their album covers. The Power Slave album cover, for example, has some funny Kilroy graffiti, which is some really old person comedy. If you don't know who Kilroy is, ask your grandparents. It's from World War II. But anyway, the Somewhere in Time album just takes the concept of putting Easter eggs in an album cover and just goes the whole way with it. They go so far over the top, they're over mountains. Now, before we even get into the Easter eggs, the album cover is visually stunning. The futuristic film noir style, it's so beautiful. It's so reminiscent of Blade Runner. It's just, I love this album cover. It's so beautiful. And as I mentioned, it has so many Easter eggs, it's difficult to know where to start. There are band references, aside from actually having all four members of the band there. There is Eddie, or Eddie's eye, in the Clouds and Moon. There are references to songs. The clock in the background says 11:58, or 2 minutes to midnight. There is Icarus in the background just by a building. Then there are just silly references like the TARDIS and Batman hidden in the background. I did find a website which explains all, I think, the references on the album cover. However, if you are an Iron Maiden fan, a metalhead, someone who likes puzzles, I would just suggest looking at the album cover, 15 minutes, just see how many of the references you can get. It's fun, it's like Where's Waldo for metalheads. And that is my list. Thank you so much for watching. Do you know of any other album covers that have Easter eggs that I may have missed? Put them down in the comments. Did you like this video? If you did, could you click like and subscribe for more content like this? Thank you so much for watching. My name is Rob and I will see you in another video very soon.